this morning we're going to be speaking to Madzivanzira. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Morning Rush.
Thank you. Thank
you
you for having
asked me earlier off air what it feels like. Well, what would you be doing if you're not up early and sitting here on the Morning Rush?
Reading a novel.
Reading a novel?
Definitely.
Now, I do stand corrected. Louisa is a film director, born and bred in Zimbabwe, and says here stays in the vibrant cultural landscape of South Africa. So you stay in South Africa and you do film production there.
No,
Here. Okay, so fill us in on the vision that comes in, the vision that comes in with film production, apart from script and the synopsis of what you have to do.
Oh my God, it's everything, because it's the pre, the prod, and the post production. So being a director, you have to be involved in every stage of it. So apart from the script and finding location, the one that actually talks to you, and the proper cast, it's stress, pretty much. You just have to make sure that the vision that you have in your mind aligns with the vision that the scriptwriter has.
I love your acknowledgement of it being stress, which then expresses your passion for the art. Because anytime that anyone has something that stresses them, you'd let it go. Now, looking at the status quo of our film industry right here in Zimbabwe, and also looking at your, if I'm to put it in a better way, your international knowledge of the film industry, what do you make of our industry right now?
It's coming. It's coming up. It's coming up, most definitely, because the stress is usually, Zimbabweans are one-dimensional. We normally think, as long as it's in Shona, it's ours, we accept it, let's finish it there. But noticing how film is evolving, I'm glad to say it still has a long way to go, but we're trying. I mean, that's why we're there.
If we were to talk about maybe diversely the film industry and the art industry, maybe to word it better in that way, what would you say about our art industry? We're not seeing a lot of theatre in the park. We don't have much groomed poetry session, of which, to me, all that comes together when we look at the contribution it has toward the film industry.
It has a lot of contribution, considering I did theatre before I went into film. Art on its own, we're one people that don't support each other, sadly. There's so many theatre shows I can tell you about that people don't know right now. And yet, we always say, oh, we need more of this, we need more of this. But when we then give them more of that, it's, shukudura.
I want to ask you, whilst you're there, on giving us more of that, because awareness is everything. Now, we only know as good, we can only do as better as we know, okay, as good as we know, rather. So if you say you are putting it out there, how? Which streams are you making sure that the people that don't know about what's happening in the film industry know?
Literally, ZTA or even Jason Pepo have platforms, Facebook, where they show their shows, except people don't go because they have to buy tickets.
But with everything else we have, is that the support you speak of?
Yeah.
That we don't have the support.
We don't have the support financially. We don't have the support from the people themselves. If we were to say, I'm doing a stand-up poetry session, poetry slam right now, and I give a location, I say tickets are $5, you'll be shocked that only 30 people or so will come.
And how are we then remunerating when it comes our actors or our people that put into screenplay? I mean, there's a fourth stage, the camera crew, the production crew. Where's the money coming from then if we're not getting money from people coming to support? Where are you getting the money from?
That's a very good question, because majority of our producers are overseas. And as much as it saddens me to say this, in our film industry, we don't have much of money coming back in after putting it out. So basically, monetizing YouTube is one of the other venues people are going through, so that we manage to pay our actors, and as well as approaching sponsors. Because we definitely do need remuneration for these people.
If we look at approaching sponsors or attracting sponsors, we have to look at content, because it is the content that does then attract investment. Now, what are we putting towards that content as Zimbabwe? I ask because we consume a lot of foreign content. We consume a lot of the Nollywood content, the Hollywood content, because their content is something that we are now finding relatable. What do you say when it comes to us not making our content relatable enough to attract this investment that we want from sponsors?
Well, that's where we're now coming in, where we're trying to reshape that and make relatively relatable stories. We have so many stories in Zimbabwe that people are keeping in their laptops, yet it's something that everybody's going through on a daily basis. So we're doing these, I think ZBC also did an outreach where they're asking for stories, they're asking for scripts. So we want to put more short stories, more feature films where people actually like understand.
Yeah.
We want to tell Zimbabwean stories, even though it's not in Shona. It could be in Ndebele and Shona in English, but telling Zimbabwean stories to the world so that everybody relates with us and understand where we're coming from.
Lovely. Now, whilst we have you here, I'm sure those who are sitting at home or wherever you're watching us from also would love to have a breakdown of the terminology that we use in the industry. Now, most of the times we don't understand, and perhaps that's why maybe people are not attending. What is the difference between a short film, a feature film, and a film, or different types of production, maybe, if you may, in the couple of minutes that we have left?
So a short film is usually just 5 to 10 minutes. Those are the short ones. The quick ones where you can watch it on a combi, you can watch it in your car.
Yeah.
And then the feature films are 60 minutes and above. And then the ones that are longer than 2 hours, those are just movies that we also just question as we film.
Longer than 2 hours.
Yes.
You take me back to our soundtracks that were 14 minutes long. If a movie, what's the stipulated standard time that keeps one's attention span when it comes to a movie? I do know that with a song these days we're keeping it at 3 minutes 46 seconds at the most 4. So with a movie, what do you recommend it stays at?
It's hard to say because with a movie, it all hinges on the plot. So if you don't find answers within the first hour, of course you keep watching for the next 30 minutes. But an hour 30 is usually where I would mark it because a lot of people have a lot of things to do.
Louisa, I must ask you for, once again, those of us, those that are watching us and they're thinking, okay, I want to get into the film industry, or maybe I've got a story to tell. What kind of story qualifies? What criteria qualifies to go to a production house and say, this is my story and this is what I'd like to tell? Can we just pop out and say, this is what I feel like should be on a film?
Sadly, not every story can qualify. It needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in that space of structure, it needs to resonate. It needs to have a goal because you can't just have a story. I can tell you about my commute from my house. Yeah. That's a story, but it has no meaning. It has no moral
context. Yeah.
So it needs to have a main character. What does the main character want? Where they're going? What is the goal? Are they going to get it? Is it a tragedy? Is it a happy ending? And if so, how exactly are you putting it out?
I do hope that we did grab that as we're listening from home because we are speaking to film director Louisa Madzivanzira. And was this always like your lifetime career path or goal? Did it click? Was it a light bulb moment that this is what I do want to do?
Not exactly. My mom always said, do what you love and you never work a day in your life.
I love that.
She steered me. She pointed out every time I would go out, be like, can you see that everybody's giving you a camera? Can you just go into it, look into it? I thought I wanted to do psychology until I held the camera.
Would you not say it's pretty much the same thing? The study of film, character and everything would then leave you there.
That's true.
Absolutely lovely. Listen, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for waking up early in the morning to give us a glimpse into the film sector. I do hope that you have an amazing Thursday.
Thank you.
Konapo Konapo, Ipapo Ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294.